Okay, everybody, it is me, Gregory Mannarino. It is still Wednesday, September 9th, 2020, and this is my lovely post-market wrap-up. It's going to be great and just all kinds of fun. All right, so let's start off with the basics here. Rally on Wall Street. Dow Jones Industrial Average up about 440 points. The NASDAQ was the big winner today. Okay. That shouldn't surprise anyone. I think tech was massively oversold. Understand how the markets work. They always overreact either to the upside or to the downside. So, with that in mind, we can take advantage of moves like this in the market. There's just no doubt about it. Okay, so what's really driving all this? A couple of things. The dollar got weaker today. The 10-year yield held its own about 0.69, 0.70. That's perfect. With regard to crude oil, got bid up nice, about 3.4% today. And that's what really drove the stock market here. On top of being, kind of oversold, technically oversold. Although we have a couple of big wig individuals calling for a market crash. I'll cover that in just a little bit. Anyway, so let's go back to assets here. Gold and silver did catch a bid. Cryptocurrencies caught a bid today. Again, it was one of those lovely kind of days where if you're in these kinds of assets, you're just happy. You're just all kinds of happy. All right, so what I would like to do here, I'm going to open up a page and we're going to go over a few things so we could gain a perspective on what's going on. What do you think? Sounds reasonable? All right. So I covered the markets. Now we found this out here, and I'm surprised the market didn't react negatively to this. So we found out that AstraZeneca, one of the big pharmaceuticals that got billions of dollars of taxpayer money to help develop a vaccine, well, now apparently they're pausing their vaccine trial after a volunteer's unexplained illness. Unexplained illness. Well, why can't they explain it to us? What is so alarming here, this unexplained illness, that they had to pause the vaccine trial? It's supposed to be great. It's warp speed. And it's going to be perfect. You know that. Looks like it ain't working out so well. Imagine my shock. Who would be shocked with a warp speed vaccine? Could you imagine this individual here? This volunteer, someone volunteered themselves to have a warp speed experimental vaccine injected into their own body. Something tells me that individual is missing a few functioning brain cells, probably clusters of functioning brain cells that they don't work. There's just no doubt about that in my mind here. Okay, let's move forward here just a little bit. Okay, so we got a couple of big investors here calling for, and this is their words, a shocking, spectacular, you remember that word yesterday from Larry Kudlow? He used it in a different context because yesterday, according to Larry Kudlow, the U.S. economy is in a spectacular recovery. Well, according to this guy, a shocking and spectacular, disorderly market crash looms. You know what? The truth of the matter is, the guy's right. We just don't know when that's going to happen. It's all fake. It's all propped up on the back of easy money. You can't make it up. And here's another big wig. Stanley Druckenmiller is also calling for this absolute raging mania in the stock market to cause a lot of people grief. He's right too. We just don't exactly know when that's going to happen, and we're just going to ride it out. That's what we're going to do. Now, this is something else I want to talk about real quick. CNBC, Bloomberg, Fox Business, a lot of bears out there. They're parading a lot of guys out there and a couple of women who are very bearish on the market. And now I can't help myself. When I hear that, I get bullish. I just do. When I hear too many people getting, bullish, then I get bearish. I like the opposite thing, okay? So, I'll tell you something else that scares me. Jim Cramer came out today saying, well, maybe you should dip your toes back into the stock market because it's going higher. That scared me a little bit because Jim Cramer, the man has, look, we all make bad calls. That's the truth. But his have been pretty astonishingly horrible, like, Lehman Brothers, Bear Stearns. We could go on and on. Hey, you know what? Before I move forward real quick, I'm going to be on this show tomorrow, the Barrel Buddies. I can't wait. 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And, it's not, I don't think we're going to talk about the markets. I even bought a nice new shirt. Not one of these for this show. So I hope you catch it. I will put a link to this, the Barrel Buddies, in the description of this video. I hope you catch that. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Let's move forward here just a little bit here. So let's talk about this. This was published on CNBC, 10:53 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Are you ready? The rate of hiring has slowed considerably, consistent with a reduction in the pace of payroll gains. But again, this is tremendous. It's a super V, and Larry Kudlow says it's spectacular. Can't make it up. Can't do it. It's impossible to do. Now, this is something else that's almost impossible to do. We have more threats against China by the President of the United States. We've heard this, I don't know, 1,000 times? Here, Trump fires new salvos at China. Tough talk. Yeah, that's all it was. Tough talk. And the market didn't buy it. I mean, there's got to be a time for action here. How any individual, and no matter what chair they're sitting in here, he just happens to be the President of the United States, sitting here threatening, repeated threats. China's got to be laughing. I mean, they got to be laughing. Just act, Mr. President. Forget about threats, okay? Coward's threat. Carry through. Follow through on your threat, and I'll gain a little bit of respect for you. All right. So here we go. Here's another lovely thing that we need to talk about. The U.S. budget deficit just went where no man or no woman has ever gone before. We're exceeding a $3 trillion budget deficit. Now, how many of you recall this guy saying debts and deficits are going to explode? Well, you haven't seen anything yet. And here's a new one for you. But again, America's doing fantastic, right? Yeah, according to some. Consumer confidence is falling. Consumers feeling the sting of higher prices. No, I corrected that. Actually, it's the weaker dollar. So consumer confidence is falling because people are acknowledging that prices are going up. But what they're not told, by the mainstream media, by our politicians, is it's the dollar that is cratering, losing value, losing its purchasing power. But you're not supposed to know that. So let's keep that between you and me, because I don't want to cause any problems. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, let's see. What else is there to talk about here? I'm going to get out of this. That's enough. Anyway, so let's go back to this loveliness here, people. This is what I believe has the potential to play out. When I did my Markets A Look Ahead segment Monday, the market was closed on Monday, I said that this market has the potential to rise towards the end of the week. Well, we're here at Wednesday. We're midweek. If things stay the way they are, let's talk about what that is. You got crude oil catching a bid. You got a weaker dollar. You got the 10-year yield kind of stable where it is. Stocks will go higher tomorrow and Friday. That's just the setup here. The market doesn't care about threats to China anymore. At least it doesn't seem to. So today, used to react very wildly when the president would threaten China. But the market knows it's all talk, zero action. Okay? The president can't act. For some reason, he will threaten and threaten and threaten, but he will not act. Okay? In my view, that's a coward, but that's okay. So again, just going back to market dynamics. If these three things stay the way they are, simply again, crude oil getting bid up, dollar weaker, 10-year yield where it is or higher, you're going to watch this rally from today continue for the next couple of days. So let's see how that plays out, people. With regard to metals and cryptocurrencies, again, you almost laugh at traders like myself, although I am a stacker and I do hold cryptos as well. But it's so easy for you. You just buy. You don't think about anything. You just sit there and you buy because you understand the environment. Debt expansion on a scale that you just can't even believe. And, with the budget deficit now hitting an all-time record high, and that's going to double with regard to national debt as well and everything else connected to it, well, it's a no-brainer. You continue to do what you're doing. Bet against the debt, become your own central bank. It can't be more easy for you. All right, that's it. This guy right here, I got to go, but I do love you a lot. Please share the video. I'm out of here.